Jai and friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the latest news of the day. Now, in a State Department briefing, the spokesperson was asked to comment. The US State Department, their spokesperson was asked to comment about this Guardian article which insinuated that India had killed 20 Pakistanis inside Pakistan. India had carried out Mossad-like assassination hits deep inside Pakistan. So there are 2-3 things that I would like to understand here, First of all, America said that we would not like to comment on a media report, and this is something that India and Pakistan must sort out between themselves. One Hardeep Singh Nijjar gets killed. One Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was a Canadian citizen, and everybody gets active, right? One Khalistani gets killed. And gets killed in a gang war, by the way, by other Khalistanis because there is some dispute about money. Everybody gets active. Oh, maybe the Indians have killed him and we have credible allegations. I don't know what in God's name credible allegations mean, but we have credible allegations and the Indians have done this and the Indians have done that, etc., etc. And Justin Trudeau gets up in Parliament and he starts accusing India and later on cannot back up his accusations by evidence. But he does that. He does what he can. That is the value of a Canadian life. And here, 20 Pakistanis are killed and Pakistan is screaming itself hoarse, saying that, hey, the Indians have killed him. And a lot of Pakistani ISI agents also go and tell the Guardian newspaper that we have proof, this is proof that Indians have killed him. Now, surprisingly, the Pakistanis do not go to the United Nations. They do not go to their best friends, the Chinese. They do not go to the International Court of Justice. They go nowhere. They go to a British newspaper. For some reason, best known to the Pakistanis. Again, no problem. But then America says that don't talk to us. Sort it out with the Indians. This is a slap on Pakistan's face. Which means that Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian, he'll have everybody on his toes, the entire Canadian government running around. But 20 Pakistanis are killed and nobody cares. This is the value of a Pakistani life. Nobody cares. The Americans say we don't care. Talk to India, don't talk to us. We don't have time for this nonsense. So friends, this is exactly what is happening and Pakistani media is not very happy about this and the Pakistani media actually thought that, the world is going to burn after the Guardian story. They believe in fairy tales. The entire Pakistani population is like that. They aren't terribly bright and they believe in fairy tales and they believe in, that one British newspaper says something and the world will shake. Nothing happened. Nobody shook. India said we are not responsible for this and we haven't done it and it's not in our policy and that's it. That's the end of it. But here the larger point is, you see, all these were Pakistani ISI assets. Let us assume for a minute, I am saying assume, I am not saying India did it, let us, for the sake of a hypothesis, assume that India actually ordered the killing of these 20 people inside Pakistan. Let's assume, academic discussion. No, all these people were ISI assets, hardcore. They were used inside India, they were used in the Indian area of Jammu and Kashmir. They were terrorists, there were 1 or 2 Khalistanis, but mostly jihadis used in Kashmir. Now, here's the thing. These were assets and then Pakistan came under huge strain and huge pressure from the FATF. So everybody went underground. Everybody went underground and you're aware that Hafiz Saeed was put in jail and this guy Maulana Masood Azhar is nowhere to be seen. So everybody goes underground, right? Nobody's there. And they change their names. That is how you put people underground. You change their facial features, you change their names, you have plastic surgery done, you reduce somebody's ear size, you change his dental, you change his jawline, you change the color of his eyes, you do so many things, the cheekbones come out or are put inside. You change the basic outlay of his face. The hairstyle changes. If person had long hair, he becomes bald. If he did not have a beard, he suddenly gets a beard. So everything in contrast, not easy to recognize. And then you change his name. You change his national identification card. You change his residential address. You change everything. His family changes, everything changes. He is virtually invisible. And 20 of these invisible guys, protected by the ISI, round the clock, hardcore ISI assets, they're killed. How is it even possible? Does RAW, I'm just asking, this is a purely hypothetical scenario. Does RAW have that kind of reach inside Pakistan, where they can figure out if a person has had plastic surgery 5 years back, he's changed his location, maybe he was living in Rawalpindi, now he's living in Sialkot, in some village, he goes to such a mosque. Every day, this is where he goes. How do the Indians know? Because they were certainly, most of them, 90% of them, were not living with the same names and the same faces and the same identities. They had changed. Who let the cat out of the bag? If at all, RAW was responsible for killing. If at all, RAW was responsible for these hits. Who gave them the names and addresses? A lot of Pakistanis, who know how their establishment works, said that this is the same kind of mindset that led to the killing of Osama bin Laden. Osama was protected by the Pakistani deep state, and when the pressure got too much, the Pakistanis sold Osama bin Laden to the Americans. And the Americans killed him, and then they made this lovely movie called Zero Dark 30. But the fact of the matter is, Osama bin Laden was betrayed by the Pakistanis. You know why the Talibanis are angry with the Pakistanis? Because they betrayed the Taliban also. The Pakistanis have betrayed everybody. They betrayed the Taliban. They arrested the Taliban ambassador in Islamabad. I don't know if you guys even remember. They recognized the Taliban regime. After recognizing the Taliban, this is pre-9/11, they recognized the Taliban regime. Taliban had a proper embassy in Islamabad. They had appointed an ambassador. And the Pakistanis had accepted his credentials, and he was the formal ambassador. And then the Pakistanis sent their army, they arrested him, they put this guy in jail. And he has written an account of the Pakistanis. There is a book, lovely book called My Life with the Taliban. And he writes about the Pakistanis, and it's extremely unflattering. So what I want to say is that the Pakistanis apparently, this is my analysis, they betrayed these 20 odd jihadis. They leaked out their identities. Whether they took money or whether the deal was that India would not apply pressure for FATF and they would give India a free run, I don't know, because the Pakistanis are saying, I'm not saying this, but the Pakistanis are saying that the Indians have killed these 20 guys, and that is exactly what they said to the Guardian newspaper, that it is the Indian Secret Service RAW that killed these 20 Pakistanis. This is the Pakistani claim. So my question is simple. How in God's name did India know, right, that this guy was actually this guy, and this is how he looks, and this is how he looked 20 years back, and this is where he is hiding, and this is the false identity or assumed name under which he lives, and this is the mosque to which he goes to pray? How would India know? A brand new identity, brand new face, new name, new family, new location, new house, new everything. How would India know? If India, and if, there is a very big if India actually ordered for the killing of these 20 inside Pakistan, then Pakistan needs to account for the fact that how in God's name India came to know a secret that is held very closely by ISI and military intelligence of the Pakistan Army. That's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, press the like button. I'll be back again tomorrow with another fresh video. Till then, Jai Hind.